So, I wanted to talk about this whole fucking political bullshit, which, keep in mind, I've also been debating on starting up a podcast on my YouTube where I get to speak freedom of speech and my freedom of, opinion and allow everybody else to speak theirs. And my podcast was literally gonna be called A&A Gamers Podcast or something like that. Or I'm still working on the name, but I am debating on doing a podcast because I've had a lot of people tell me, right, that I seem to be really good at stating facts and speaking truth on some things. And so it got me thinking, what if I was to do a podcast and people can join and it would be like this live? My videos would be live, people would join in, they would comment their facts, what they want, and the whole 9 yards, right? Or what they want to say, and there's going to be no judgment. The only thing is if I do that, there can be no threats made by anybody towards anybody. We can speak and debate, but there's going to be no threats and no bullying allowed. That's my 2 rules. None. Those 2 are not allowed. So I wanted to talk about the political bullshit, the political nonsense of this whole food stamp thing. Okay? Keep in mind that I am a disabled person who does not work anymore, and that's what I rely on for my food is food stamps. My grandmother gets food stamps, my sister gets food stamps, my brother gets food stamps. I know a lot of people who get food stamps that mean a lot to me. And here's how I see it. I am not against the government taking food stamps from those who don't need them, because there are millions of people out there, thousands, millions, who lie about their actual disability, who lie about not being able to work, and who are getting food stamps and SSI for free when they are capable of working. They just choose not to because they want to be lazy. Hello. But there's people like me and millions of others out there who are physically and deemed disabled. I cannot work anymore. I am deemed disabled permanently for the rest of my life because of the disability that I have. I literally have a disability that makes me a safety hazard at work. I am from the United States, and I'm Stephanie. Hi, hello. We are talking political about this whole food stamp thing. If you're in the United States, you know what I'm talking about. If you're out of the United States, you probably are not having to worry about it. So in the United States right now, our government has shut down. And I'm getting to the disability thing. So I have multiple types of disabilities that make me not able to work because it makes me a safety issue in a workplace. Before I became legally disabled by the judge and by the government, back years ago in 2017, I became disabled. Before then, I had been working. But here's what happened. I have 4 types of seizures. Not just seizures, but also epileptic seizures. I have seizures and epilepsy. I have both. I also have axle, I think it's pronounced axle arthritis in my lower back, where I was born with my L4 deformed. So it's constantly pushing on a nerve, and the surgery, with me going so long without surgery to fix it, I now can no longer lift anything over a certain amount of weight, or it pinches my back and I fall. I physically fall to the ground and I cannot help it. My seizures are a safety hazard. I believe, yes, that's how you say it. I used to be a nurse before. Yeah, I used to work at the hospital years back before 2017. I used to be a nurse. I also used to work in factory. I used to do construction. I used to do demolition. I used to do all sorts of things. I was a jack of all trades. I made it a mission to try all these different jobs, but here's what the doctors found out. I have level 1 autism, which makes it hard for me to comprehend and understand things. I have 4 different types of seizures. I have both sides of the brain, A and B, seizures with epileptic. I fall, I drop things, I have grandma seizures, I have partial seizures, I have aura seizures. I literally will, I'm a danger to drive, I'm a danger to work, I'm a danger to be around machinery. I literally I'm not allowed to own any kind of glassware, like dishes. I had to have nothing but plastic because it's a safety hazard for me. Um, Not to mention my autism. Like I said, I have my axial arthritis, which locks up my back. I also have a hammer toe. So if nobody knows what a hammer toe is, it's where the pinky toe is, from a kid, depending on what you do, it is curved sideways, pushing on the other two toes, which causes me not to be able to fully walk. I cannot wear tennis shoes unless I have them custom made. Hello. And so it keeps me from standing long periods of time because the doctors found out from a live ultrasound on my foot when I was standing, my pinky toe with the hammer toe is pushing basically on the ring toe and the middle, or ring. Yeah, it would be considered the middle toe, I think. So it's pushing both those toes against the other toes, making my foot go at an angle. And the doctor, I went and got it looked at, and they said that it's been like that for so long that only surgery would be able to fix it if my insurance would even medically cover it. Here's the other problem. My insurance medically doesn't cover a lot of shit. Here's the other reason why I can't work. I have a battery in my chest that hooks to my neck. If I do anything with this arm to lift too much weight, pull, push, bend, like to anything with this arm, it can pull the wire loose in my neck, which would then physically shock me because it's a battery that's constantly putting voltage out. So there's another problem. I'm a safety hazard in general of anything that I do. I'm not allowed to lift over 10 pounds. I'm not allowed to be bending because of my knee, my foot, my hip, my back. I'm not supposed to be near anything that causes stress because it will trigger my seizures. I take a lot of medicine. I'm like, I just in general have so many things wrong with me. And so there's people like me in this world who are disabled, who have problems that we're not able to work. The fact that I can't drive a car to get myself to a job anyways goes to show I also can't work. I have to be able to drive to a job. I can't do that. I legally, by the state of Arkansas, cannot drive a car with my seizures. And so losing my food stamps because they say the Democrats voted not to bring back the funding for the government to feed people who are disabled, people who have food stamps. And so, well, the tattoos were not done by me. They were all done by my friend who lives at home and has his own tattoo gun, and I got them for free. So if you want to know about my tattoos, they are all done for free. I did not have to pay a penny for them. So my food stamps being taken away, like millions of others who literally cannot work, I don't think it's right that the Democrats are avoiding on signing off to fund the food stamps for people who are legally disabled, like legitly. And that's another problem. Like, you can judge me based on my tattoos. You can judge me based on my style. You can judge me based on, but the half the shit that I have here, these, handmade. My tattoos, free. Actually, half my tattoos are unfinished because, my friend went to jail and wasn't able to finish them. These, free. I didn't have to pay for them. My mom paid for them. My hair, I never go to a salon to get my hair cut. I have to do it myself by hand in the fucking bathroom. My clothes, hand-me-downs from my neighbors. I don't buy my clothes. I have never bought clothes. They have always been given to me. I was raised to have clothes given to me by free. My bras, my panties, my socks, my pants, and my shoes have all been given to me for free. I have not worked to earn any of it. It's been gifted to me by family and by neighbors. The food in my fridge right now, given to me by a church. Everything that you see in my house has been given to me. because I don't make enough money to buy myself clothes, to buy myself food, to buy my medicine, to buy anything to fit my needs. It has to be given to me by people who are willing to help me in general, because I have family like that. And I seriously have never had to buy any clothes, nothing, none of it. It's all been given to me by people who love me and care about me because they know that I can't afford it. After all my bills are paid at this one single bedroom apartment, I have $80 left to spend on my needs. After all bills, it's $80 after my disability is spent up. And to buy food to fill my fridge with the food stamps, just to get by with a month's worth of food, $267, which is going to be taken from me. The ice maker that's right here beside me, the portable ice maker, was given to me by my mother as a hand-me-down. This phone was a hand-me-down. This was given to me by my neighbor because he ordered 2 and didn't want it and gave it to me, which is a Circle water bottle, keep in mind, was given to me. I haven't spent my own money on a lot of shit. A lot of the stuff was given to me. I had to save up pennies and dollars and nickels and dimes that I found on the ground just to be able to afford something. There are people out there like us who do have that difficulty and have to live penny by penny compared to some of you. And some of y'all don't realize it because you've never been in my shoes. You've never had to do what I've done. You've never been poor. You've never lived on the streets. So you don't know what some of us disabled people are going through. We have to have food stamps to survive because we don't make enough on our SSI to even buy food with. If I made enough money in my SSI, I would be spending that money to be able to buy food, which would be covered with my SSI money. But SSI doesn't pay disabled people enough to do that. There are some disabled people out there who make $1,200 who can. There are people out there who make $1,500, $1,800. Yeah, they can. But there's people like me who only make less than $900 a month, and the rent where I live is $600. Alone, it's $600. Lucky me, I get help from the housing authority. So some of my rent's paid for, but I still have to pay almost $300 in rent. Oh, I know. You never should count on them. But here's the problem. Unless SSI is going to give disabled people enough money to feed ourselves, which they don't, how else do you expect somebody to feed themselves? With what money? When after all of our bills, what's $80 worth of money left over going to give you? What can you get with $80 besides some microwave meals and some dollar stuff from the dollar store or Dollar General or 88-cent stuff? How is $80 going to get you through for the month? $80 will not feed a single person for a month. It won't. And that's where people are not realizing that taking away the food stamps, it's going to give consequences to those parents who are disabled, those parents who have kids, the parents or disabled people like me, or the elderly people who can't work anymore, especially elderly people who can't work and drive. How are they going to feed themselves when they make less than what I'm making? I have a neighbor who's an elder, 80 years old. She is in a wheelchair. She can't drive. She can't work. She's disabled. She makes food stamps, and they're about to be taken from her, and she only makes about $600 a month, less than me by about $300. And what is she supposed to do? After all of her bills, she only has like maybe $50 left to spend. How is it going to feed her for the rest of the month? How is $80 going to feed me for the rest of the month? Make that make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Because I agree that there are people out there who are ripping the government off and lying, who are capable of working, who don't need food stamps and disability. But then there's those of us who do have disabilities that we cannot control, we cannot help. We are deemed disabled completely, can't drive, can't help ourselves, and that food stamps and SSI is all we have because we can't work a job like you. And that's where the high class and the richer people think that they can down the lower class like us who are disabled and throw the insults at us and attack us when we're not the ones doing anything wrong. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at the person or the people who are faking their disabilities and lying and are not and are capable of working and not telling the truth and are taking your money illegally. Why don't you go get mad at them? Not mad at the ones who are not doing anything wrong, who are can't really leave the house, can't go do anything because I'm on foot 24 fucking 7. People who are in wheelchairs, people who have to have a walker, people who can't drive themselves to the store. I can't drive myself to the grocery store. I can't. Just to walk a block from here to the nearest little quick stop, I literally have to take my inhaler with me because I have asthma. I can't make it a block without my hip hurting or my knee because of my hammer toe. So I'm in pain. I have to stop. I have to take breaks constantly while walking. It takes me about 2 hours to even get to the grocery store on foot with a backpack. And then it takes me more than that to get back because I'm carrying all the weight that I'm not supposed to be fucking carrying per my doctor's orders. Only to get home and then be too fucking exhausted to fucking put the fucking groceries up because it's that bad. Because my back hurts that bad, or my hip hurts that bad, or my foot hurts that bad because I have medical conditions that you can't see. That's the other problem. The high and mighty want to say that the disabled people are faking because you can't see our disability. Seizures are a hidden disability. My hammer toe is a hidden disability. My battery in my chest is a hidden disability that you would never know unless I told you. You would never know that I have level 1 autism unless I told you. You would never know that I have axial arthritis. The only way you'd be able to tell about my axial arthritis, the easiest way, is because I have a limp. That's the only way you can tell that I have a bad deformed tailbone on the lower back. Because you can see me when I walk that I limp on my right leg. Because that's the side that's messed up. It's not simple of just assuming that everybody who's on SSI and food stamps is faking it. It's not okay to assume because some of us are not. It's just you can't see the disabilities that we have. And yeah, here we go. That's the whole point of this video. Some people need to stop and realize that some of us can't just, what, you want me to have my arm cut off just so you'll know that I'm disabled? I have to have one leg and a fake leg just for you to see my disability? Disabilities are not always noticeable. So, it's just one of those things. And I do not think the Democrats need to be taking away food stamps, period. I think they should be winging out the ones that are lying and fake and not the ones that are disabled that actually need it. I mean, even the USDA said that they were not going to have enough to fund everybody, like all the single families, that they're not going to be able to fund in the state of Arkansas to give us the food that the families need that can't get their food stamps or feed their kids or feed themselves. They're not going to be able to fund. The church in my town is only going to fund 150 people. They're only going to feed 150. That's how many boxes they're handing out. Once those boxes are gone, you ain't getting any more. The families that are going to be without are just going to fucking be without. Because some of us don't have cars to drive to Ozark 30 minutes away, to go down there to the commodities, which says you have to be 60 and older to even get them. Well, I'm not fucking 60, so how am I supposed to drive down there and get a ride just to get fucking commodities that aren't even going to fit my needs because, I'm not a certain age, but I'm disabled, but I'm not a certain age, so I can't get help from that church. The other nearest church would be in Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is another 30, 35 minutes away, 40 with traffic most likely. And even then, you have to be from Fort Smith to get service. You have to be from that county to get help. Just like when you're in Charleston, the church here, they won't fund you or give you food if you're from a different town. You have to show proof of address and the whole yards. So this whole food stamp cut thing is going to make it hard on people because the churches are not willing to help. Soup kitchens are not willing to help. The USDA is not willing to help, all because you have to be from that county or from that town, or you have to have proof of your disability or proof of 80 hours of work or proof of this or proof of that. And it's just screwing everybody over. It really is. It's screwing everybody over. And to be honest, a lot of y'all can sit there and say that I'm not disabled and I'm capable of working, but guess what? I'm not. I'm not capable of working. I'm a safety hazard. I'm a problem. And I am not fit to work in society because of my disabilities. That is what a judge deemed me after 3 years of fighting for my disability in a court with a judge, with a lawyer, 2 lawyers to be exact, my family behind me, and I had multiple people who wrote personal letters to the disability office just to tell them the disabilities and what they've seen and what has happened with me, just so I could be approved for my disability. 3 years of fighting with no income, wasn't able to get a job. Nobody would hire me because of my epilepsy. Nobody would hire me because I didn't have a car to drive myself. Nobody would hire me because I couldn't comprehend the instructions that they needed me to follow. There's another issue. That's part of the autism. I'm not able to follow instructions very easily like some people. So no, taking away the food stamps from certain people is not okay. I don't agree with it. I think the Democrats should stop putting it off and sign off to refund it so families can feed themselves, so families can feed their children. Because guess what happens? If a parent can't feed their child, right? What do you think that's called? If they can't take care of their child and feed them, that's called neglect. And then all it takes is that one Karen in life to call on a family who lost their food stamps and can't feed their kids, and CPS is going to get involved, right? Because they're going to say that the parents are neglecting their kids all because the Democrats didn't want to fund the food stamps. So the parents are now stuck in a bind, not being able to feed their kids or get WIC. Mothers can't get WIC because of this situation as well. And so how many kids out there are going to be taken away from their families, their parents, because their parents are disabled and can't afford to work either, or can't afford to feed them, and then, they're a bad parent because, the government didn't want to give them what they need to feed their child. And I agree with what they said on the news when I was watching the news earlier when it was live. They are taking food away from children, not just adults. They're taking the food away from children, and that is not okay. Children need to be fed, especially those who live in homes with disabled parents. And, the only way they're going to get a meal is if, they go to grandma's house or go to a neighbor's or a friend's or somebody who can give them food, or go to school and get a free lunch. That's if the school even provides free lunches, because not all schools provide. The parents has to pay. What if your parent can't pay? What if they don't make enough to pay for a lunch and they're expecting to be able to feed their kids and they can't? There's so many pros and cons to the situation, and it's like, I don't think the Democrats thought the consequences through, like they said on the news. I don't think the Democrats realized that the consequences to them denying to fund was going to backfire so badly. Literally, because that's all it's doing. It's just backfiring on them by taking food away from children, taking food away from, like I said, mothers. In general, it's not okay. But, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, it's just how I feel, and it's how I see it. If, just hypothetically, if I was running the government, I would wing out all those people who, like I said, are lying, because there's millions of them out there who are lying to the government and getting money for free. I would wing them out and remove them and only give the food stamps and WIC to the people who can prove that they need it, who can prove their disability, who can prove that they cannot work. They have to be deemed not able to work by a judge before they can receive any kind of benefits. That's what I had to go through. I had to prove that I was not capable of working. I had to go to all my former jobs and get the bosses to sign off on a piece of paper stating that I was not able to work. That's the process I had to do. Okay? That was about 5 bosses that had to sign off that they agree that I was not capable of working because of my seizures and epilepsy. And my back, and my battery in my chest. I am not capable of working. I had them sign off on it. My family signed off to agree. The judge signed off to agree. Both lawyers signed off to agree. And so here I am completely disabled since 2017. Do I wish I had more money? I do. I do wish I had a little more SSI money given to me every month so I could buy food. If they were to take the $267 in food stamps that I received and put it onto my SSI check, I would be able to buy my own food with my money from SSI, and I wouldn't be on food stamps. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to turn around and take that money and just add it to my check. No, we only get a $25 raise every year at the beginning of January of every single fucking year. We get a $25 raise, which adds only $25 extra, which still, even after all that, after all these years of getting those raises, every time we get a raise, guess what else goes up? Rent. Guess what else goes up? Water. Guess what else? OG&E. Every time we get a raise, our bills go up, taking away the money that we should be able to spend on food, or the extra money that we're getting that we should be able to use for needs. We're not able to use because, they have to up all the bills just to take that money from us. So then we disabled people never get to see that extra money. We never get to see the extra $25 every year. No, we don't. Hello. So if you take from 2017 up till now and add $25 for every year, that'll tell you how much money I should have extra to spend. But I don't. Because after all my fucking bills, I only have $80 to spend. And that money has to be split between my savings, which has $4 in it right now because I can't fucking save because, shit's so fucking expensive in our economy that you can't afford nothing. And everybody wants money out the ass to buy medicine or buy this or buy that. I hope you know that I have an autoimmune disease as well. I do. I have an autoimmune disease. I have to get a shot in my arm every 2 weeks. You want to know how much that shot cost? $4,000. Every 2 weeks. $4,000. Luckily, I have family and insurance to help pay for it. But that's $4,000 out of my insurance pockets and some of my family's pocket to help me because I don't make enough to buy my medicine. $4,000 is a lot. I hope you know that. $4,000 is extremely a lot for a shot to keep me alive. Because if I don't get the autoimmune shot in my arm every 2 weeks, I can have heart failure from the autoimmune that I have. Okay? The autoimmune disease that I have will cause heart failure. So I am required to get this autoimmune shot every 2 weeks. Another reason why I can't work. Because I have an autoimmune disease that causes the same side effects as lupus. So if you have lupus, you know how painful it can be. So then you know how painful I'm feeling body pains all over from my autoimmune disease then. All the sores, all of them, all over me. I'm covered in the same sores that people with lupus get. I don't have lupus, but I have prurigo nodularis, which is PN, which is related to lupus. So I have the physical pain from what lupus people have. I get the whelps and the sores and the nodules, just like somebody with lupus. And that's about it on that part. But then other than that, it affects the heart. And new studies have shown with my autoimmune disease that if I don't keep this shot and I don't keep taking it, I would have heart failure in 10 years. So it's just one of those things that if the government's going to take people's food stamps, once again, yes, I'm probably repeating myself, but that's fine. I still think that they should take it from those who don't need it, those that are capable of working, compared to people like me who can't. It's just all around sad, and it's wrong because, yeah, they said that the last time our government shut down like this, like majorly money wise like this, was when the Great Depression happened. There was a shutdown in like 93. There was also a shutdown in 2019 due to the COVID situation, but none of them affected the money situation and the funding like it is now. And the fact that they got on the news and they even said that the last time this happened was during the Great Depression when people couldn't afford food and people were, that's kind of where the poor man's soup and the poor man's bread and all that shit was created was during the Great Depression because people couldn't afford anything, just like what's going on right now. People can't afford fucking food. The higher class can. Those of you who work, those of you who have a car and have a home and pay taxes and drive a car and pay taxes on your car and make over $1,500 a week or $1,500 a month just alone, yeah, you can afford it. You can buy food. You can go out to eat. You can go buy yourself luxury stuff and be like that. But then there's us. There's us disabled people who can't do that. And I have ran into quite a few people who are higher class than me. And they literally will look at me and go, "Why can't you just drive yourself?" Because I have a disability that keeps me from driving. I can't just drive myself to the store. I can't just drive myself out to eat. I can't drive myself to pay my bills. I have to pay my bills from home over a fucking computer because I can't drive myself to go pay them. I have had people walk up to me and go, "Why are you making disability? Doesn't look like anything's wrong with you." You're right. It doesn't look like anything's wrong with me. But if you actually sit down and speak with me and actually get to know me and actually listen, like open your ears instead of assuming, which makes an ass out of you and not me. If you take the time to get to know a person who has a disability, you'll start to realize that some of them disabilities, yeah, they're hidden. And you're not going to see them on the outside. I'm a pretty young woman that's about to be 33, and I don't look disabled, but I am disabled. And I need food stamps to feed myself because I don't make enough in my money every month to do so. Because this month, when Saturday hits, if I don't get my food stamps, yeah, I'm going to have to ask my family for help. My mother's going to have to help me get food to get me by because I won't be able to help myself to do so. And so I don't agree with the Democrats' decision. I think they should do it a different way. I think they should do it better. I think they should really think about it. And I don't think they should take it away from people who absolutely do need it. And I do agree with some people's opinions on if a parent is not going to be able to take care of their kids, then stop getting pregnant. That is true. A woman should not be forced to get pregnant. She should not have to get pregnant. She should have a right to say no. She should have a right to have control over her body. But if a woman's going to get pregnant, like there are some parents out there who do, some women do, they get pregnant and they just pop out one after another because the government will pay them for it. You're right. I don't think that's right. I think a mother should stop at a certain number. Okay, go. If you're not going to sit still, I'm not going to hold you. If a mother is not going to literally be having children to actually be a mother and take care of them and all this, and she's only doing it for the money, which there are mothers out there who do, no, I don't agree with that. You should not have a kid just because you want this. That's being greedy. That's also abusing your body as a female, and it's not right. But then there are some families out there where mothers can have 8 kids and be just fine and take care of them and feed them and support them. I've seen TV series where mothers show how they make a lunch for 10 kids. And it's like, that's great. They're actually taking care of their kids compared to some mothers who don't. So if a mother is getting WIC and she's getting a check because she's had so many kids and she's got so many that are filed on with the government and all this other stuff, and she's just doing it to get money so she could go take those checks and spend them on fucking junk and drugs and alcohol, then no, that's not right to do. And I think the government should cut them people. They should cut them or limit them. And then there's those dads out there who will only get money on kids that they take in from the mothers who have just disappeared, who didn't want to take care of them. So the dads are left to take care of them, and they do the same thing. They get greedy. They take the check that they receive and they spend it on junk or alcohol because, that's all they care about. There's so many kids out there that are getting abused because of that type of parenting. So those who do that, no, I don't think they should get WIC or food stamps if they're just going to abuse it, if they're just going to spend it on alcohol and do that with their money. Instead of using it to do good, they're using it to do bad. And I don't agree with feeding bad habits in people. It's not a good thing. It's wrong. So, no, I do hope that the government restarts back up. I do. I hope it does. I hope they refund the food stamps to the people that need it. Not the people that are lying, that don't need it. I'm talking about the people that do need it, like myself. Because I am an independent woman who should not have to ask my mother for help at this age. The fact that I'm about to be 33 and I'm going to have to ask my mother to help me buy food for a month because I'm not going to get my food stamps, it does. It bothers me. It does. I should be helping my mother, but I can't even do that because of my disabilities and the no money that I have to help my own mother. The fact that for the last 3 years, the government has gone downhill so bad by the economy going up that people can't afford a fucking Christmas. This year, who's going to be able to afford a Thanksgiving besides the higher class? Not me. I'm not going to be able to afford Thanksgiving. I'm not going to be able to host a Thanksgiving for my mother or help my mother with Thanksgiving like I did before because I have no money to do it. Where am I going to be able to help my mom with Thanksgiving? And my mom's going to be spending that amount of money on me to help me for the month to get food. And when she should be spending that money on a Thanksgiving dinner for our family. But that's not going to happen. And I've seen where multiple other families were reporting and making videos on Facebook and TikTok and stuff reporting that they're not going to be able to do a Thanksgiving either because the government they're just going to take our food stamps and keep us from doing that. And they're going to make prices so high that we can't afford anything. It is outrageous the way our economy is going right now with prices, food stamp cut, the WIC cut, the fucking gas prices are still high. I mean, where I live, that the gas prices are fucking high. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for food except ask my mom. And like I said, I should not be having to ask. My mother is 62 years old. She should not be having to take her savings and her money to come help her daughter buy food like this. I mean, it's a mother's job to love their child unconditionally, but I was raised to be independent. And I don't want to have to take the money from my mom. My mom just got on her feet on retirement. Why would I want to take her retirement money from her? I don't want my mom to spend her retirement money on me. I don't. She needs to be keeping that money to pay her bills. She has a house. She has to take care of herself and my dying grandmother and my stepdad who's retired. They're both trying to take care of my dying grandmother. And they barely even get out of the house and take care of themselves there. I don't want my mom to have to spend her retirement money on me because the government wants to be like this because of the fucking Democrats. Oh, sorry to any of the Democrats. I'm an independent. I go both ways. So I side basically based on the situation. So right now, I don't like the Democrats. I don't really like the Republicans either, because Congress could overwrite this issue and fund the government anyways without the fucking Democrats' approval. But Congress is not willing to, and the president is not willing to override it either. And there was somebody at the White House they were doing an interview on live TV, and they stated that they have been able to overwrite multiple choices like this in the past to be able to fund and get the funding when needed. But they're not willing to do it now. And that's a problem. If neither Congress, Republicans, or fucking Democrats are willing to do anything, and they're all just fucking standing there watching like little puppets, then, to be honest, I don't think that any of them should be in the House trying to make choices right now if they can't fucking override it and can't go, okay, this is what we need to do. They're willing to literally let kids go hungry. They're willing to let millions and billions of families go hungry because of their petty choices to sign off not to agree on funding. There are Democrats out there, and I'm sure I have Democrats watching. There are Democrats out there who have families that are on food stamps, family members, friends. And like I said on my Facebook page, I hope you're happy that you're taking that away from the people that you know and the people that you care about, because guess what? What are you going to do when your family member who was funded by that choice that you made turns around and comes to you, and you're a government official who voted not to have the food stamps refunded, and you're going to have to tell them, oh, I can't help you. You can't help your own friends and your own family by voting yes to fund DHS for food stamps and WIC. You're going to leave people that you know without. That's the fucked up mindset of this. Those Democrats, half of them, I don't care if they're at the fucking White House. I guarantee you one of them or multiple of them Democrats who voted have somebody in their life that receives food stamps and they just took it from them. So it's like, they just, I don't understand the situation of why they would do this. It's like, it's kind of mind-blowing, really, why Democrats would vote for no. And not on just multiple occasions, but I think they said it was like 13 times that they voted no. So, yeah. And WIC is WIC, not WIT. But Congress, like I said, could override this ruling. They could literally override it and fund the government to give food stamps. But like the lady from the White House, I forgot her name, she told the news guy that they're not going to do that. So clearly Republicans don't care enough, and clearly Democrats don't give a shit, and clearly Congress doesn't want to override it, so then none of them fuckers care. So right now our whole government's fucking corrupted with people who just don't give a shit. That's how I see it. They just don't care that kids and babies are going to be without food and formula, and parents are not going to be, just disabled parents. I'm not saying old parents, but disabled parents, ones who can't work, are not going to be able to feed their children. There's going to be a lot of families that are going to be unhappy without a Thanksgiving this year. There's going to be a lot of them that are going to be unhappy without a Christmas. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be putting their thoughts and opinions out there like this, because the people should have a right to express themselves. We should have a right to free opinion and freedom of speech. And we should not be silenced for telling our feelings like this out and sharing our story, the whole 9 yards. It's not against the law, but there's going to be websites out there that are going to keep people from expressing themselves like this. There's going to be people out there who are going to complain, who are going to be haters. There's going to be people out there who are going to do that. Because I walked up to the bank today just to check my balance because I knew that I'm going to be getting my SSI check, but I didn't know when. And I asked the banker, I said, do you know if we're going to be getting our SSI checks? Because isn't that government funded because of the government shutdown? And he said that everyone should be still getting their SSI check, their disability. But he looked at me and he says, I'm not trying to say that you don't deserve food stamps, but I can't really say that I don't agree with it or agree, but and he was really trying to be nice about it, but at the same time I could tell that he was a Democrat because he was trying to hint in a way to me that he didn't agree that people should have food stamps. And it's cool. You believe that. That's the whole point of political debates. You believe what you want to believe on the votes. That's how it is. I've never voted in my life, ever. I've never been on a voter registration. But I still have a right to freedom of speech to give my opinion on the situation about the whole food stamps thing and the whole people lying to get government help when they don't deserve it or don't need it. I do. I deserve to give my opinion just like the banker did. And this whole food stamp thing it's splitting everybody down the middle. There are going to be people who are going to hate each other. There's going to be family members that are going to hate each other. My family is split down the middle right now in this situation because I have half Democrat family and a half Republican family. And then I have half independent, which I'm one of the independents. And my mom has had conflict with my aunt for fucking months because she's a Democrat and my mom is a Republican. And it's like, it's just awful sometimes to see my mom rant about the whole situation with my aunt. How my aunt agrees with the whole Democrat thing and the whole big, beautiful bill or whatever, and the whole, all of it. And it's like, I don't even have news. I have a TV, right? But I don't have news. I have to watch the news on my phone on TikTok, or I have to look up abc.com just to look at a live video or a live news feed. I don't have satellite. I don't have dish. I don't make enough money to spend on news. And it's like, so I can't be updated based on a TV like everyone else can. I have to go ask people, hey, what's going on? I have to call my mom. Hey, can you tell me what the news said? Somebody mentioned to me that this is what they heard, and I just kind of like want to know what's going on. I have to ask my grandmother every now and then. I have to call my grandmother up and I go, hey, what's going on with the government? Anything new? And she has to tell me. And it's like, I have to go to my landlord. I have to go to my friends and I'll have to ask them because I live in a government funded complex. Section 8, housing. That's where I live, in an apartment that's ran by Section 8, which is government ran. Okay. And so I go to my landlord too sometimes and I ask her, what's our apartment complex going to do about this whole food stamp thing? Is our company for the apartment complex going to have any backup plan to fund the elderly here and the disabled? Are they going to be able to help us out if the food stamp thing doesn't work out? My landlord's like, I have no idea. I don't know. And so it's a difficult situation. Just all together in general, it's a very difficult situation because half of y'all are going to think, whatever. Some of y'all are not going to care. Some of y'all are going to care. And it's like some of y'all are not going to understand, and then some of y'all will understand. But I will say that those of you who don't understand my point of view on it, I'd like to see you live in my shoes for a day or a week. Take my place. Have to walk barefoot just about 24/7 because my shoes won't fit me because of my hammer toe. Constant pain. I have to roll around in this chair that I have in my house because it hurts too much to stand up because of my autoimmune disease. Oh, I have to live off microwave meals or ramen. Can't buy the high-end beef or pork or steaks that you want to eat. You're not able to do that living here. With the money I make, you can't. I'd like to see those of you who make more money than me come live in my shoes for a day. Have clothes handed to you from a poor person who's on the streets, or clothes handed to you, hand-me-downs from your neighbor. This tank top was handed down to me by my neighbor. The bra handed down to me by a neighbor. My sweatpants handed down to me by a neighbor. Because I can't afford clothes right now. Nope, can't go to work like you. Sorry. I'm epileptic and seizures, so I can't. You know, and it's like everything that if y'all have seen any of my videos and you see a lot of the things around my house, do you see that crock pot right there behind me, that white crock pot? Do you want to know how much that cost? $4. You want to know where I got that $4 from to buy it? I literally found money on the ground while walking around town. And I took the money and went up to the store and bought me a small crock pot just big enough for me for $4, which I was lucky to find on the ground. You want to see this? I didn't buy this. This was given to me. My friend bought this for me, and it's fake. It is fake. It's plastic. But they bought it for me as a gift because they knew I liked Harry Potter. I didn't buy this. It's not real. This is literally plastic. That's what I'm saying. Some of y'all don't realize that there's some of us out there. I don't ask people for things in return. I don't ask for help. People offer help, and I go, okay, I'm not going to tell you no that you can't help me, but at the same time, I don't want to take from someone else. And I have a lot of friends and family who will go, oh, it's fine, let me help you. And they'll go buy something for me that I need, or they know that I need or want, and they'll go get it for me because they know that I can't afford it. If it wasn't for my mother and my best friend, who I have had those two for so fucking long, I would not be able to get to my doctor's appointments or have help. And you want to know how I'm also disabled? Because I also have a live-in aide. I have an aide. Okay? And he comes over every day. And he stays with me. And he helps me. I'm in a government-funded apartment to where I'm about to get a 2-bedroom. I'm on a waiting list for a 2-bedroom. So when I move into it in a couple months, my live-in aide is going to move in with me and get the 2nd bedroom. That's what's going to happen because my neurologist said that I have to have someone living with me because my seizures are so bad. You can go to my TikTok and you can literally look at the videos that I have of me having seizures. Those are just partial seizures. But actually last month, I had a grandma seizure. I fell on the floor behind me. I was able to call 911 luckily before the seizure because I was sitting here on my laptop and suddenly I felt weird and I couldn't feel my legs. So I called 911, and by the time I dialed and told them that I think I'm about to have a seizure, I fell to the floor. I have cameras in my house that are for medical purposes only that recorded me having this grandma seizure. And I was convulsing on the ground by myself with the phone next to me. It was sad to have to rewatch that video. That's how I'm also disabled. I have an aide. My insurance pays for an aide to come help me because I'm a fall risk 24/7. I can hurt myself by falling, which I've done in the past. I've had to be rushed to the hospital because of my seizures. Some people with seizures are okay. They are capable of driving and they're under control. But there's some of us out there who don't have control over our disabilities and our seizures. We don't have control over the epileptic issue that we got going on. We can't. And the type of seizures that I have are unpredictable. My seizures can happen at any time. I could be sitting here having one. I could be walking to the bathroom and have one. I could be with my mom and have one. I could be at a doctor's appointment. I could be walking through the grocery store and have one. My seizures happen at random, and I never know when they're going to happen. Never. And that's that's what I'm saying. My disabilities are kind of hidden. You would not ever think that I have seizures, but I do. And it is. It's scary. It's sad. It sucks to be living alone until I get my 2-bedroom. Do I feel fully safe living alone? No, because I know that I could fall and hit my head. I know that I could have a seizure longer than a minute and it could kill me. I know that it could cause brain damage. It causes memory loss already. Um, it's sad. It really is. So yeah, I don't agree with the whole Democrats voting to take away food stamps. Sorry. Not sorry. But I don't agree. I think they're going about it wrong and there's a better way to handle it. Oh, you want to know where I got this cup? It was given to me at a yard sale. I was walking through a yard sale, right? And I seen it. And I only had like $2 on me. And I won't lie, I was kind of tearing up a little bit because I really always wanted a cup like this. And the lady walked up to me and asked me how much money I had, and I said, "Oh, I'm just looking. I only have the $2." I told her, I said, "I'm not looking to like take from you or whatever." And she says, "Well, here, I'll make a deal with you. You give me your $2 and you can have the cup." I said, "Are you sure? I don't want to take it. I was just walking by and wanted to look." She says, "I'm sure. I've had that cup for a while. You can have it." She says, "It's been in storage. You can clean it. It's yours." And so this was given to me by a lady at a yard sale. There are people out there who make it by scrounging up change and living off of pennies and dollars. There are people that do it. There's a whole TV series on it where somebody lives on pennies. Like, I'm one of those who lives on dollars and pennies. Literally. Everything that I buy or get, it's with dollars and pennies and change. Like, if I ever want to treat myself, just like, okay, hear me out on this story. This is a good example. Okay. I have a friend on PlayStation. My mom bought me a PlayStation for a Christmas gift. Okay. And so I met a friend on PlayStation. He drives a truck. He travels all over the United States and he has a PlayStation in his truck. He literally came down to Arkansas to do a load one time and he met up with me and we hung out. It was nice to meet an online friend for once. It went well. Guess what that online friend did? He turned around and after he bought me a coffee and after buying me a coffee and talking, he gave me some cash. I didn't even ask. He just gave it to me. He knew that I didn't have money. He knew I wasn't able to help myself. He gave me like $8 in cash and said, "Here you go. For you." I didn't even ask. And I was able to go up to Sonic, because I have a Sonic in my town. And it's not against the law for a disabled person to buy coffee. But I went up to Sonic with that $8 that my friend gave me willingly. And I bought myself a coffee. And it was dollars. Dollar bills. I have taken quarters. I'm talking like $6 in quarters to Sonic that I saved up just to buy myself a coffee. And so knowing the reality that some people don't have the money that others do. We do have to survive based on change. Okay, change is how we survive. Because every dime and every nickel and every quarter and penny matters. And so it's one of those things. And just like on my wall up here, which I'm not going to show you guys, but I have a bunch of picture frames, right? And it has a bunch of my family members in all the picture frames. Guess where I got all them picture frames? You'll never guess. I literally got them from a lady who was moving out of a house in town here. And she had a box that she put out by the road and said free on it. And I stopped by and looked, and I said, "Are those picture frames any good?" She said, "Yeah, they're free." And I said, "Well, I'll take them." Okay. Because of the lady giving me the box of picture frames, I was able to hang photos of my family on my wall. I didn't spend a penny to get them. There's dishes that I have, pans and pots that are free that people put out by the road in boxes that I had to pick up and take home because I didn't have pots and pans. I had to get them for free. I didn't spend the money. They were given to me. There are some people out there who do nothing but live on free stuff like that. That's like just given to them. Because we can't afford to buy our own. I'm sure some of y'all could go buy brand new pots and pans, no big deal. But you go spend the $300 and do that. I'm not, because I don't have $300 to spend. I will be getting my 2-bedroom apartment probably in about 3 months, maybe more. I don't know. It's sometime in the next 6 months, hopefully. Hell, you're probably not even going to realize. But you see these top teeth? They're not real. It's a partial. Guess who paid for it? My mother. Not me. My teeth. I have lost all my top teeth before I was even 30. And my mom had to pay to have my teeth, my partial put in because I couldn't afford it because it was $1,000. So she paid for it. And it's just, there's just so much in someone's life. It's like you don't even know what somebody's going through or anything like that unless you ask, unless you take the time to sit down and just ask the person and get to know the person. Then, talk to you later, better. I don't think that the higher class people should assume. They should not attack us disabled people. Just like out here, right across the street from my apartment complex, there is housing addition. There's houses, right? And then across the street is all the apartments. And our parking lots, which are numbered and set for us disabled people here, those homeowners think that they're entitled to park in our spaces and fill up our parking spot because they don't want to parallel park. But the law states that they can parallel park. That word is hard to say sometimes. So just like last month, me and my mom, she came and got me. She took me to go shopping, right? I had food stamps on the 4th and she took me to go shopping. We come back an hour later and the whole parking lot is full with cars from across the street at this house. Well, I personally know the homeowner. Used to be my old bus driver. I knew him. So I got up out of the car, told my mom, "Hold on, I know who they are.